How's it going, people? I put a link so that way people can jump on board and kind of offer some commentary. I know that was kind of a shitstorm. The link is also in the chat. If you do want to jump on board, I am going to be vetting people to see if you can cam up. That's also important. I don't want my channel to be obliterated into oblivion. I know it sounds like I just repeated myself several times, but feel free to jump on the panel. I'll include you and we can talk about all this debate shit that we just delved into. I do think it was a shitstorm because I'll take the L. I'm very gracious and benevolent because I can admit, hey, you know what? I should have said more, I would say more beneficial for society or more optimal, things like this. But that's literally what I meant. This faux pas only happens one time, by the way. This isn't something that's going to be congruent or consistent in any debates that I do have. I did want to go ahead and hold a post-debate panel, having to go ahead and blurt things out right now. But anyways, I do want people to see if they can come up. We can discuss this. Also, I do believe that I took a W. That was an overwhelming W. There's no way that Ryan can say that stay-at-home husbands are more optimal for society, which is what I meant. So when we talk about things that we meant, that's what I said. And I don't think that anybody else can show me up or say that, hey, the stats show that women out there working and pushed into the workforce is what we want for society. This is not what we want. Also, click the link. I also put the link in the chat if you do want to. I mean, we can continue this debate or discussion, but I do believe it's more optimal for men to be outside of the home working. There's no way that we can reconcile this. I think a patriarchal structure of men being the head of the home, which is a provider protector, is what we want. Women utter this mantra all the time. Even in street interviews, women will often say, hey, I just want to protect a provider. They'll say this. Even feminists will say this. Even the feminists that say, I don't want no man, end up being cat ladies that wish they would have gotten this with full of regret and cats at home. So I would say that a lot of these people with Chewy that make Chewy a lot of money, which is the cat food service that we have, would agree with me on this. You know, because they end up with a home full of resent and cats back then, and you can't reverse time. This is what feminism has led to. So, I mean, I believe that this was a W. I believe that I did really well, actually, on the prompt. And even then, that's what I meant by the prompt. So this is the bad thing, that we can have fallacious debates happen because somebody could say, well, no, it's a prescription. I proved that there's one example, and then they win the whole debate. I think that that's totally bullshit. If somebody can get on the mic and say, well, I won the debate because I can prove that one hypothetical of an example exists, so there's a prescription out there. That's literally not what I wanted for the prompt to be. So Ryan, if he says he wants to win, then that's such a shitty win for anybody to win. I don't think that that's a victory anybody would want to even own. So if Ryan wants to say he won the debate because I can prove one example, like, that's really shitty. So if you want to say 20%, that's not a good prescription. So that's what I meant by the debate prompt. And I think everybody overwhelmingly would say, hey, this sounds like a very sound debate argument that I would make. I don't think anybody would say that it doesn't exist, which is what Ryan was saying. Well, hold on. There's a prescription out there for society, meaning it exists in this one-off case or anything like that. So I was literally arguing for what the prompt should mean most of the debate, and he didn't want to come on board with that, which means he was bad faith. And to me, I don't see that as like good faith at all. If he wants to say I took a W because of this and you want to warp the prompt of what we mean, I think that next time, this is a really good learning lesson on when I design a prompt, I need to go ahead and specify and have a conversation with Sarah. This is really what I mean by the prompt, because I would never enter a debate and say I'm arguing against an absolute like that somebody else would make, saying that there's no prescription that you can't make. Because if I'm saying this and Ryan can debunk my whole debate by saying, no, there's one example, which means it's an option, so there's a prescription. No, that's not what anybody would design this debate to be. I meant to say, hey, this is not a good prescription. This is not optimal. This is not fruitful. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm taking a Christian stance on this. So, by the way, I did provide a link once again in the chat so that way people can join if they want to and discuss this topic. So the topic is that stay-at-home husbands are not optimal for society. This is not what we want. That's literally what I meant by the prompt. And of course, maybe I was in a rush during that day and I said disagree with Ryan. That's not a good prescription, is what I meant. So maybe when I worded this to Sarah, that's not a prescription. I didn't mean this as an absolute claim by saying it doesn't exist. That's not what I meant by that. And that's what Ryan ran on. He ran on the debate on saying, no, it's not a prescription that doesn't exist. That's not my whole debate. And I think we were talking past each other. He wanted to avoid the debate, which he would have lost on, which means it's not a good prescription. And Ryan avoided this like the Black Plague, because he even admitted in his whole debate that, yeah, I didn't take that because I took how you worded it by semantics. Yeah, of course, any fool would argue, against an absolute claim that somebody makes. I wouldn't make such a stupid claim like this by saying it doesn't exist, which is what Ryan's whole argument was. So anyways, if you guys want to go ahead and jump on the prompt, I shared the link so that way you guys can jump on board. That's good. Relentless, I do think I did a good job. That's good. So yes, I can summarize the thing with Rob a little bit. Pumpkinheads, I don't know what you mean by the news. I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe you can clarify. Knight and the Bishop says, the Rob thing, can you summarize this? I don't know. Sarah fucking around and found out. Now Andrew cut her off. Did Sarah lose 1K fans? I did see I think it was a post on Twitter saying that they unsub. People were unsubbing from Sarah's channel. I don't exactly know. Andrew was running a stream, kind of probably explaining some of this. So you guys are welcome to go to Andrew's stream. Also, I left I'm going to go ahead and post it again. If you guys want to jump on stream and kind of have a discussion about this, I'm at liberty to discuss this. I'm willing to kind of talk about this. Maybe I can be informed on this as well too. So the link is in the stream. If you guys want to jump on board and have this discussion, I'll bring you up. That's perfectly fine. So yes, full sentences do help. That would be great. So yeah, I do also have text problems too, because I will have like words misspelled because my keyboard's small and I have big thumbs. So yeah, I mean, it's a little tough. Wicked Wally, I do appreciate the support. I think I won the debate for the prompt that I meant it to be. Now, this is like a really semantics argument. He'll win if he was saying that I can prove that one instance that there's one prescription where it's been successful. Anybody would win that. That's not what I meant by the prompt. So we ended up talking past each other back to this. If it comes to like what's a good prescription or what's more optimal, I win. I beat his ass. He got fucking like destroyed tonight when it came to this topic, which is why he didn't want to agree with the topic. He wanted to say, no, it's a choice that people have. They're allowed to have this choice. That's not what I was debating this whole time, which is why we were talking past each other. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Sarah was talking shit about Rob. Andrew's pissed. I need to get more intel on this. Aftermath, if you want to come up, the link is in the chat. We can definitely discuss this. I'm more at liberty to discuss this if you want to. I posted the link as well too. Yeah, Ryan is extremely bad faith. Stacy, I'll go ahead and put this on here. Lady Christ Warrior, I like this. Anything with Christ on it, I do like. Ryan's definitely bad faith, because if we do agree with Ryan's position on the prompt saying that, no, stay-at-home husbands is what we want for society, that's a really horrendous claim. Matter of fact, I don't think, Stacy, you would want to date a guy who just wants to stay at home, isn't ambitious, and doesn't want to strive to be better than you and compete in the world of men. I don't think that's what women want. So let's continue on this. Dudio and Ryan. Ryan sucks. I don't think there's ever been a debate that Ryan's ever won, to be honest. He could say that he won by saying, I proved one good example where it's worked. Yeah, that's not a good prescription. Meaning that's what I want. That's what I meant the whole time. So one of you on the panel explained what happened with this Sarah, Andrew, Rob thing. I can't be concise when I explain this because I could mischaracterize this whole position of what happened. I don't even know exactly what happened. Aftermath. No, you're working. That makes sense totally. Sometimes when I'm at work, I can't talk. Pumpkinheads. I would love to. Well, I would talk about it if I didn't lose my voice from the call. Yeah, that sucks, man. Losing your voice does suck. I do want to provide an after panel to kind of clear up the whole debate debacle this was a debacle. I do own this. This is my fault. Guarantee you I'm not going to make this mistake again. I'm going to clarify the prompt next time I do have a debate. I'm reading from a lot of leftists in the comments saying, oh shit, Marte doesn't have his facts. Marte doesn't have his data right. I didn't need data. I didn't need a lot of data when it came to like studies and all this other stuff to prove that this isn't what women want overwhelmingly for society. There's so many ways that Ryan got destroyed in this. Like, for instance, if you see a street interview, you'll never see women arguing, you know, those street interviews in Miami where people are talking, hey, what's up, Harry Ludwig? You'll never see this in society where women overwhelmingly are saying, I want to be the breadwinner. I want a man that's not 6 foot tall, 6-figure income or any of this. You'll never hear the opposite end of this. In any street talks or anything like when we have these short clips on YouTube where women are interviewed overwhelmingly of what they want. They never ask for a stay-at-home husband. You'll never see. Matter of fact, if anybody on the left, whoever's listening to me right now on this panel, if you could provide any video of a woman, even a liberal woman saying, I want to be the boss woman of my relationship and I want my man to stay home and not make money and then just be relegated to like housework. I've never even heard a liberal woman ask for this as far as like, you know, for a prescription that they want. So, I mean, I like literally, I've never heard this once. And I asked my audience, have you even heard of this? Have you heard of a woman that doesn't want a guy that's 6 foot tall, is a breadwinner, makes more money than her, or any of this? I don't see this as propaganda, even on the left of women. This isn't something that is pushed in society. Even feminists don't even push this agenda, even though they say they would accept this. But guess what? Those marriages don't last long. I've already proved this in the debate. Ryan's been thrashed overwhelmingly, and I did say it would be a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath, but Ryan didn't want to concede to the debate. He wanted to choose, I can prove one example, and that's what you mean by prescription. Well, that's literally him being bad faith and avoiding this whole debate. He doesn't win this debate. He fucking sucks. Ryan sucks ass. There's never been one fucking debate where he's won. So when it comes to Christianity, overwhelmingly, we did have a person that was saying, I'm agnostic. Well, good for you. That's not a good prescription. And we've definitely, like me and Vinny, overwhelmingly proved this. Grid one was on my side as well, too, because of course we have base men in the chat and also base men on panels that would agree with me as well, too, overwhelmingly. So it doesn't make any sense. We're comparing me to AI. And I see that, Ken has entered the studio. Let's see if we can bring Ken up. Hold on real quick. Let me see if I can know how to bring Ken up. I do see this. Add to the stage. Hold on, Ken. I'm kind of new to this. What's up, man? I don't know if you can like reveal yourself. I don't want to be doxxed from anything else or banned from a channel. Can you talk?
I can. I don't have a camera. Can you hear me?
Okay, I just want to make sure that you're good faith. I'm just taking your word for this, that you're not going to say like the whole schnazi word and all this and talk about the Jays.
No, man, I was just going to call in and explain what happened with the Rob and Sarah situation.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, from your tone, I'm using a lot of trust. You're trusting you. As far as this, we can divert from my debate, which I definitely destroyed the shit out of Ryan on, and we can move on to this. So can you kind of make a concise point and kind of clear this up as far as to what happened?
I think so. So what had happened is, as far as I understand, Rob and Sarah had gotten a little chirpy. This went on for a little bit up until yesterday when there was a debate panel set up with Rob, and he got invited on. And while him and I want to say Ryan were going back and forth, there was a lot of interruptions. And so Rob was expecting moderation, and there didn't seem to be much moderation. And it sounds like there's a little bit of disagreement on that aspect of what happened. Rob,
yeah, I did see Rob's content earlier today, and I was tuning in. I actually sent in a super chat, and I am extremely biased on this, by the way. I will go to Sarah's channel if even they have a fallout, but trust and believe, Ken is your name, right? Trust and believe, Ken. And also to my chat, I am on Rob's side on anything, by the way. So to me, I don't do like backbiting or any of this other stuff. if I have to choose one, I'm going to choose Rob every time. I don't feel like I'm wrong on this because I do believe that I would have his back just as much as Andrew Wilson's back. I have my sides, man. I'm biased on this. So when it comes to this, if I can kind of steelman what you're saying is that Rob wasn't afforded some fair moderation on Sarah's end, basically kind of being biased from what I got from Rob's chat or Rob's thing. Yeah, it's saying that Sarah was not providing good moderation, kind of being biased towards Dusty's end of the argument or also Connor's side of the exchange. And making it kind of like an unlevel playing field and kind of playing teams. And also what I also heard, if I can also be correct, maybe you can kind of back up what I'm saying, is that they were kind of like making this group and saying that there was a witch hunt to kind of troll Rob at some point in a separate group on Dusty's channel. Did I get that right?
Well, that's the part I was going to get to.
Okay.
That's all sounds about right. I like the Crucible guys also, just to be forthright with you.
Oh, based. Okay, it's good shit. All right. I mean, you definitely aren't showing yourself on camera or whatever, but I appreciate you being good faith with me. Yeah, that's the thing, though, is when I see Dusty, I'll be honest with you, Ken. I attack the shit out of this guy because I do hate centrists. I do hate people that can pick a side and they're undecisive and they're saying, well, no, I sound like a conservative until it comes to cooming and degeneracy against the youth and pornography and everything like that. No, I will definitely attack the shit out of your position and tell you that you're unfaithful to anybody's position, meaning you're high likelihood to backstab me. Ken, I'll even ask you a question right now. Do you think being called lukewarm in society or being a fence sitter is a good thing?
No, I don't think most people are.
Kind of a negative connotation, overwhelmingly, is what I'm alluding to. So if there's a negative connotation with this in society, I don't think I could trust you because that implies that you don't have an identity. So if we're at war and you don't have an identity, why the fuck are you on my side? Which means you could stab me because I don't know which direction you're leaning from one moment to the next, which is why this is the reason why I don't like Dusty. And this is why I don't like centrists. And this is why I attacked them and I exposed them by asking them about their position rhetorically. So, yeah.
That's fair. I understand the gripe because centrism kind of sounds like what's the middle point of a horrible position and a decent position, right? I don't know if that's what most people mean by centrist, but that's neither here nor there. I was just trying to explain what happened.
Yeah. To me, that makes sense. So I think that if I was going to pick a side, and the reason why I don't think it's neither here nor there is because Sarah, as a moderator, is supposed to be a centrist in this argument. So that's the only centrist I like is when a person's neutral. If you have a referee in a boxing match and the referee is like mainly for Holyfield, not for Tyson, wouldn't you not want this to happen? And I think that that's what Rob's gripe is that a referee got into a group and this kind of turned into kind of a witch hunt against a certain person's position, which means that it's implied bias, right?
Well, I agree that cold neutrality is definitely what you want to try to achieve if you're a judge. That was the gripe, and that's between them. That's between them. What happened was after the debate, during the debate, Rob got frustrated and then muted his mic. Then they got frustrated with Rob for muting his mic. I understand where Rob's coming from in that situation. And so then eventually the debate ends. And so then they started trolling him after that. Now, here's where Andrew got upset. Was they were in a panel together. They were in a group together. And they were all calling into his show and trolling him. And that's not what pissed off Andrew. It's that Sarah was in the group with him, yucking it up and laughing, hanging out with the guys. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I have no gripes there. I'm just explaining what happened, how this all came to be.
No, I got you. But just understand that sometimes I can switch into debate mode, even if you're on my side. Like, let's say you're the most beneficial person for my position. I can be in a, like, let's say you were Andrew Wilson colleague. By the way, Andrew's like one of my best friends. Also, here's the other thing that I'll also point out to you. Let's say you're Andrew Wilson, we're talking, right? I might play devil's advocate and push a little bit just to go ahead and expound on the audience how crucial it is to be neutral, to be a moderator. Because if I can push back against your position and say, no, well, hold on, what about this? It further magnifies how disingenuous this position is. Would you not agree with that? So that's why I'm saying that, is because even though we can agree on this, I can kind of push back a little bit because I do want to make an example of this, of how horrendous this is. And I do understand Andrew's frustration. So if Andrew recognizes that there's a moderator kind of like leaning towards a certain side, you're no longer a moderator at this point. Instead, you're a leader of a group. And that's what happened. I think did I kind of explain that a little bit more thoroughly?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The point that you're making is that in moderation, you have to be cold and neutral.
Yeah,
so that you hear the arguments well, right?
You have to be cold and neutral.
You're able to still man both sides. I get that. That's not what pissed Andrew off, though.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. What you're saying, if I can be correct about this, is that Sarah was kind of like throwing a little gasoline towards one direction when it came to infuriating or insinuating that, hey, I'm going to not only flame the fires of the antagonist against Rob, but also I'm going to be implicit in the destruction, which is like either reputation destruction or trolling, or add to this. You're either adding or subtracting. So here's the thing, though. What I'm saying, if I can be kind of more concise about this, is if you're a moderator and you're leaning to one direction, you're robbing one side or adding to another. And now all of a sudden that's called favoritism and bias. That's what I'm saying.
I think that about sums it up. The fact that she was caught in 4K yucking it up with an oppositional party didn't look good. It was bad optically. And that's kind of what got Andrew's goat.
Well, here's the other bad part of the optics, which...
yeah, she did call it the Pennyverse. It was funny. Yeah,
here's the bad part about this, is the thing that I saw on Rob's channel, which is crazy. Which is, hey, what's up? Ilkhan Ali. Ilkhan Ali, I'll always push back. You know what? It's all love, by the way. I do want to say this. So Ilkhan Ali, I got a lot of mad love for you. If I really hated your guts, I wouldn't fight you as much. It's almost like when I get on a panel with Ilkhan Ali, it's like sibling rivalry. So if I didn't like you, I actually get excited because I do read your reels sometimes, or when I say read, it's like I'm audibly reading it. I do like your points all the time, but I do question your rhetoric, because I do like a good challenge. And I think you're one of the people that can actually push back competently. And when you do get pissed off, I do thoroughly enjoy it, because it means you're actually intelligent. And not only are you intelligent, but you actually have a good principle for why you believe in the things you do. And when you get pissed, and I trigger that a little bit, I do believe that it provides some kind of entertainment factor for the audience. So Ilkhan Ali, I do appreciate your contribution and pushback. It means I like you a lot, because there's a lot of people who I don't like. I don't respond to these people at all. So that's what I mean by that. So yeah, a lot of respect to Ilkhan Ali. If you guys can follow this guy broke, I think it's like 4K subs. I don't want to kind of mischaracterize your position or whatever, but this is what I'm saying. If you guys can go ahead and like a lot of Ilkhan Ali's topics and subjects. There's one thing I will say on Ilkhan Ali's part. I will say this. I know I'm sidetracking away from the conversation, Ken, but I'm going to get back to it. I forgot the guy's name. It's a black guy that fought Andrew Wilson on Ilkhan Ali's podcast one time. I really hate this guy. I loathe him, his rhetoric. All he does is almost 5K now, brother. Don't hold me back. So here's the thing, though. I forgot the guy's name. I don't like him, but I wanted to have a debate against him. Andrew Wilson wanted to. He's one of the brothers on the podcast that got on board, and what he does is he just plays into women's agenda and feminism and says that men are the antagonists, don't support men are the villains. I don't like this guy a lot. Yes, yeah, public offender. I do agree that me and Ilkhan Ali can unite on this front to stomp the shit out of public offender. I also think he's a bad actor. I don't like these people because there's also a lot of men that do this. They plan part and parcel to subjugating to feminism and increasing their viewership. I think that this is bad. This should be fought at every inch and ounce. So if we think about this, I also think that Fatty doesn't like this guy either. So I've made content against him. But back to this, it's disingenuous for Sarah to create a side and be an antagonist against somebody, when I think that as a neutral moderator, you don't want to go ahead and pick a side. Then when I get into this debate, Ken, by the way, I approached this debate tonight with Radical Coder, in the degree of like, if Sarah was going to pick a side in this debate and say, Marte, you need to shut it down. I need to pull you off of Ryan because you're beating his ass so much. I would have called her out on this because I was expecting this. But the crazy thing is Sarah didn't show any particular bias in this debate. So I was kind of waiting for that as a person who loves the Crucible, who's friends with Andrew Wilson, who's friends with Rob Noor. I'll fight to the ends of the earth and take bullets for my brethren who are Crucible crew and members. I do agree with them more often than not. So if you had to pick a side, I'd pick the Crucible all day over Sarah. Hey, this isn't shade towards them, but I'm just saying we have to go ahead and call people out on their bullshit. If Sarah would have pulled some bullshit tonight, I would have said, hey, listen, that's wrong. This is really fucked up on your end. I'm not going to go ahead and side with this. Why are you choosing sides? Is this also a part of the panel verse? Are you gonna, like, I would have totally called her out on this, but I didn't see any of this behavior tonight. So, I mean, it's rough. We see this. So, I mean, according to people, Sarah's losing people on her panel. I think it's 1,000, 1,000 people, things like this. So I don't know. It's just weird. I didn't see bias in this debate, but I mean, apparently there was, according to Rob, but he had receipts. And this is the disingenuous part about this. The disingenuous part about this was Sarah saying nobody fucks with the panelverse. And then remember, Ken, when he kept replaying this, I'm pretty sure you heard this. Nobody fucks with the panelverse, and this rhetoric was really cringe. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
All right.
Rob played it this morning. I happened to catch just that part of his stream this morning.
Yeah, because Rob mentioned me in the stream this morning. He said if Marte or Andrew had a debate, there would not be bias because obviously we're on the same side. Now, granted, if I had a debate versus Andrew versus somebody else who's a liberal, yeah, there would be there. Obviously, during the debate, if I said, no, hold on, let Andrew speak, they could accuse me of being biased, right? And he also did mention this as well, too. But the whole thing that was cringe to me, I'll say, well, it's very cringe to say don't fuck with the panelverse. Nobody messes with us. And I heard that this was on Dusty's channel. So not only is this kind of biased because you're in non-neutral territory saying this on somebody else's channel, not your channel, and saying nobody fucks with us. That's kind of that's bad actor-ish, if I could say so myself.
Well, and the Crucible did a lot for her financially and just integrating her into the debate space in general. It definitely wasn't a good look optically.
Yeah, the optics are trash. I mean, the optics are horrendous about this. And yeah, I mean, Harry points out that, I mean, she's supported financially. And this is the thing, though. I was expecting her to side with Radical during this time, because if anybody could be like a cash cow or a pay pig, it would be him, because they literally pay to drop him all the time. And who gets that money? Sarah gets that money. And matter of fact, she's like, she raises the cost. Last time I saw, she was like, well, we're raising it to 20 times because Radical, it's unfair to him. You know, one could argue that, you know, she's making more money because people are getting dropped and all this, but it's like we see the incentivization. There's no channel that isn't promoting any of this rhetoric. I mean, Andrew will say, well, if you want me on the stream more, we've all heard him say, well, you got to pay up, or, you know, on Rob's stream, you know, there's like a song that they'll play. So we all have like gimmicks. Everybody's going to have, I'm going to have this. I'm not monetized yet, but I'm going to have this. So, I mean, Ilkhan Ali, it's still up. Matter of fact, I'll send it to you, Ilkhan. I'll send it to you on Instagram. I sent you messages before. I don't think you've seen any of this, maybe because maybe your fan base is massive and, you know, you're signing autographs, whatever happens. I don't know. So, yeah, Dusty, I can agree on that for sure. So I don't know what's in store. So as far as like this whole mantra, I think it's a bad look optically. I think that Sarah is going to thrive. I don't think that Sarah's completely done. She's got a fan base. She's got what, almost 20K. I think she broke 20K. Yeah, you're not exactly. Yeah, over 20K. So you're not going to be done after this. So yeah, Ilkhan, I'll send it to you. By the way, yeah, this is the thing though. When we think about optics, this is horrendous. That plays in my mind all day when we think about nobody fucks with the Panaverse while you're on somebody else's stream who's like, if you were to side with them, you would be called non-bias. Dusty is picking another side because I've debated against Dusty all the time. There was actually debates where me and Andrew debated against Dusty and Fatty at one point, meaning like she's neither on any of our sides. Last I checked, Dusty isn't a moderator for most debates. So if you're going to side on his channel and say nobody fucks with us, yeah, that's problematic moving forward into the future. This is why I had a lot of apprehension going into this debate, because I was like, damn, I got to call people out on their shit if she's going to side with him. Thankfully, I didn't see evidence of this. I don't know if you saw any of that in this debate tonight, but yeah.
I didn't catch a debate tonight. I'll probably go back and check it out. I did see while I was watching Andrew's stream earlier that and Sarah was on the panel that was trolling Rob. They were trolling Rob, sending them in one at a time. It looked pretty coordinated. It just was a bad look. It was a really bad look. And so I get the anger. I would feel the exact same way if I was Andrew.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I did go on Twitter and I did look under the video. There's always a reverb and with approach determines response. We can all agree on that. So here's the thing though. I'm an avid watcher of social media. So I did go on Twitter and I looked underneath the current video. I mean, you can go to Sarah's video that she posted of the live debate that we had with Ryan. If you start reading in the comments, people are talking shit about the panelverse. People are saying you're a shit moderator. I'm mud subbing. So there's always a cause and effect, right? We can agree on that. So I think approach will always determine response. One thing I'll do give Rob credit for is he's king of optics. He's really good about wording things, and he's like a craftsman when it comes to wordsmanship and all of this. He's not only talented, but he kind of can see 4 moves ahead on how things should be said. And he not only looks at like tonality, all this. The guy's like S tier when it comes to this. And it's clear that he's done college debates and had more formal debates than I have. So when it comes to this, he's a wordsmith when it comes to this. Sarah, I think when we look at optics and her choice that Rob has receipts that he's played, I was like, oh, even if you come to this debate, Ken, and we look at this and Rob's playing Nobody Fucks with the Panelverse in Dusty's account in his live stream, all this. Yeah, this doesn't ring like a neutrality to me. And that's what's really bad. This replays in my mind the whole time. And I'll keep constantly referring back to this. So I'm going to go look at Andrew's stream. Apparently Stacey's saying that he's going to keep it up. I'll watch this. I'm going to send this to Ilkan Ali if I see this. And I think that we should share this because it's better for me to be more informed. Notice how I'm like staying in my box. This is the optics that we're talking about. I will not speak on things I don't know about. That's why I'm referring to examples I can only present. As far as anything else, that's why I brought you up, because maybe there was like some insight that you could bring up that I don't know. But apparently, like, we know as much as the other right here. So
from my point of view, it's a little worse than non-neutrality, because she was so well integrated into the Crucible system, and then she got caught with her pants down trolling one of the premier faces of the Crucible. So it's not even that it's not neutral, it's that it was antagonistic, it was backstabby, it was Judas like. It just didn't look good.
Yeah, that's the thing though. And that's what I talk about when I talk about centrist. I don't really understand centrist at all because there's no identity. Sarah is picking an identity here. As a moderator, you're not supposed to have an identity. The only identity you have is like your allegiance to neutrality. To me, that's a supreme position of a moderator. That's the only time that kind of lukewarm fence sitter applies when you talk about a referee. That's what a moderator is. A moderator is a referee. So when we talk about referees, that's the ultimate fence sitter that we should have. So if I'm doing a debate on Ilkan Ali's channel, Fatty's channel, or anybody else, and Ilkan Ali is just sitting in the middle and he's firm, fair, and consistent, holding no bias, I think that's the best position that we can hold. Now, if I see Ilkan Ali go to like another channel and he's literally talking shit, saying Marte's horrible, yeah, I don't care about him, but Marte can't fuck with us and all this other shit, I'm like, okay, Ilkan Ali is clearly showing that his bias is on full display. He's picking a side. Why would I ever want to go to a rigged match? Because this is what this is portraying, a rigged match that nobody wants to go to because there's also bias and it's also bad. Also, by the way, I've never seen Ilkan Ali do this. This was just a hypothetical example I was presenting. So when it comes down to this, it's showing a strong bias. It's also showing a revulsion, obviously, in my language that I'm speaking right now. And it's not good. I mean, I'm a Crucible supporter for a reason, not just because Andrew's one of my best friends. I'm a Crucible supporter because he's usually right in 99.9% of instances, except for like pineapple being on pizza, because I can debate him on that. But anyways, back to
Yeah, he's
this.
wrong about that.
Yeah.
Let's not dig into it there though.
Yeah. I think I can be a flip-flopper on that position, but everything else I agree. I've heard people say, well, Andrew's not right about everything else, but I would then debate them on anything else, because chances are they're either not holding a Christian ethical system, or they believe that, you know, Rachel, all this other stuff about Rachel's being not a single mom and all this other stuff, her having kids. I'm like, that's the dumbest position either, because I know I'm using a side tangent here. Here's one thing I could say. The reason why Andrew isn't bad is because then you would have to judge all the other men or all the other women for being bad and feminist because a man ran away and abandoned them. I don't think that that's what makes a woman a feminist or a bad person. You would also have a second class of women saying these women that are widowed, meaning their husband died. Are they feminist and bad options for the dating market because of that? No, it's really bad and it's unreasonable. And I can argue why, you know, a man could date a single mom in those instances. But what we're talking about is the overwhelming position of women who opt out of marriage and initiate divorces and leave because of this no-fault divorce because their men snored too loud in his sleep or something. Like, you can't work through that. That's bullshit. But anyways, that's why overwhelmingly I would always side with their position. So
yeah, man. Well, I that's all I wanted to let you know was what happened, everything that I saw, because I saw that you were asking about it. I'll go check out your debate probably a little bit later. But anyway, keep up the good work, brother.
yeah, man. I appreciate the support, man. Thanks for calling in. It's always good to go ahead and get. I just wanted clarification on Andrew's position, Sarah's position, and all this, because maybe there may have been stuff that I, you know, would have missed or whatever. But thank you. I appreciate you for clarifying. So
yeah, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, so back to this. I'm gonna read Ilkan's. I also posted a link if anybody wants to get up here and talk. I'm gonna post it again. If you have any position on this or want to talk about, obviously this isn't just a post debate conversation that we're having. We can then talk about the recent occurrence of this happening in debate. Ilkan Ali says, I don't like canceling people because of beliefs and disagreements. We cancel people too fast and we supposedly support free speech. Now, if a person operates poorly and disrespectfully, it's wrong. I totally agree with this. I think that public offender would totally be a horrendous moderator. I also think that he would, I think, imply bias on one side or the other. Stacey, he says, Andrew did say that he was going to leave it up and he put the rewind on it this time. Yeah, good stuff. If anybody, once again, wants to come up again and talk about this, maybe you have some intel that I don't know. Obviously, this is the discussion right now that's dominating the webs right now, as far as like YouTube sphere. That's another thing too, is we can always discuss everything off topic. So Somnologist, I was wondering if you can kind of cam up, or I just want to see if I could trust you knowing that you're not going to flash the camera and get my YouTube channel removed. Just want to see if you can kind of show some background, something like that. We have somebody wanting to come up to the stage. So anyways, yeah, Andrew is loyal to his friends. I do agree on that. So yeah, there's a lot of this. Somnologist, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance. Hopefully you're not going to do anything to get my YouTube channel taken down. Can you talk?
I can. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you tell me that you're not going to do anything disingenuous right now to my channel?
Okay. For background, I met Jay Dyer 20 years ago.
Okay, well, I asked you a question though. Can you kind of answer that?
Yeah. I'm not gonna boulderize your channel or anything like that.
I appreciate that.
I missed the conversation because I was rewatching something, Courtney Turner's Omni War presentation from October 4th. But yeah, I've been watching Sarah's debates for months, many months now, and I appreciate them, and I think Sarah's a fair fair moderator as far as that goes. So, I mean, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna diss you or anything. I've watched you on Sarah's channel several times, and yeah.
Yeah. I've been here. One of the reasons why I brought you up was I was hoping that you could kind of offer some input like to this new situation. I understand that you may have been like a longtime fan, which I understand. Like I'm a kind of a fan of other channels, believe it or not. You know, I do like Sarah's channel. Like, and let me go ahead and just be good faith here and say that anytime I've been on Sarah's channel, I haven't experienced any bias against me. Whenever I've been on Fatty's channel, it's mostly like the panelists who have been biased against me, not necessarily the moderators. And let me go ahead and just be ultra good faith when I say this. Whenever I see people like Ilkan Ali, if you're familiar with Fatty's channel or Fatty on stream, most of the time that they're coming after me, it's because usually I've kind of pushed back against them extremely aggressively. So approach will always determine response. I don't see like Ilkan Ali choosing a side or being disingenuous, although they can accuse me of being disingenuous. But the reason why is because I think that my approach may not be clear to them, or maybe I've not really been really transparent in my approach, but I'm getting to it kind of thing. And it's like
Yeah,
hit the moment off the cuff. But also I don't see a lot of people who are not neutral, who are not neutral in the debate sphere. That's what I'm saying.
I know. And how can you be neutral? I'm not neutral, obviously. I am pro-Christian, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's hard for anybody to be neutral. I mean, everybody has their own bias, and that dictates how they respond to questions and stuff like that. But weird. You might you're talking to me as sunomasiologist, and I'm Harry Ludwig. That's my real name.
So, oh, hey, I did see you in the chat. Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, just good so you know.
Good stuff. Okay, that kind of clarifies a little bit. Yeah. So I do appreciate your input. That's all good. I do think so. By the way, real quick, I just want to get just some quick opinion. How do you think Ryan did in that debate?
Well, I didn't see it because I was watching. Watching Courtney Turner's Omnivore. Yeah.
Have you? Let me ask you a follow-up question.
Okay.
Do you think Ryan? Have you ever seen Ryan win a debate before?
No. No.
Good. Okay, that kind of sums it up. So he's actually consistent on this. He loses debates.
And that's one of the weird things about Sarah is that she allows Ryan to be on all the time, and he's, I don't know, I think it's just purely for monetization purposes, which I hate to ascribe to somebody, but obviously she's only on the internet to make money, I guess. I hate to say that, but yeah.
This could allude to that, because if you notice, Ryan, and I brought up this point, by the way, Ilkan Ali, I'll reach out to Andrew directly, because I do have his personal information or whatever, and see if I can get this and ask. I have a direct link to all this other stuff, and I'll DM you on IG, because I do follow you on IG. I'll send you the video if I can have this.
Okay.
Let me bring up to the stage.
I'm a good friend of Rachel Wilson, so.
Yeah, Rachel's good too. So I'm also Andrew's coach too. I help him out with like stuff. Nice. Don't blame the olive jar thing on me, because like
that's a big farce. It's a big farce.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, pickle jar gate has been a thing. And welcome to the stage, AJ's Rants. This guy,
on, guys, what's going on?
Prolific commentation. If you guys want to go see some commentation that's not only prolific but also really thought-provoking. When we talk about the BBs in society, the B-dubs in society, if you want to talk about reality, this is your man right here. So
What's going on, guys? So I hate to be the guy to be like, wait, so what happened again? I just joined the stream, but I don't want to ask for like a complete recap, but what? So Sarah did what now? I hate it.
okay, I can go ahead and bring this up because I don't know if simonologist, I fucked your name up big time. So here's the thing.
Just
So,
you
apparently
know what?
Sarah was
Terminology.
being biased.
Yeah.
She was being biased.
You know
That's
what?
all I'll say.
My name, Sunomasiologist, is in reference to the Greek in the book of Acts, where they're talking about conspiracy. And so I'm an expert on conspiracies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what Sunomasiology is.
Well, so there's a debate, and then she was showing bias against someone. I don't understand. Uh-oh. Hold on.
You're muted.
Yeah, Marte, you're
okay.
muted. I thought it was me.
Now? Okay.
Yeah,
My
Okay.
mic cut
I
out.
can hear you now.
Technical difficulties happen sometimes. So there was a debate with me and Rob Noor that we had before, but this is pertaining to Rob Noor. So really what happened is I tuned into Rob's debate because I wanted to get some kind of insight, and I kind of fell into this knowledge. Apparently, Sarah was having a stream in a panel, and Sarah was kind of being biased towards Connor and towards Dusty, which Powder Dusty, she was like kind of like leaning towards him. But this is also confirmation because she played a video of Sarah in Dusty's live stream saying nobody fucks with the panelverse, meaning like us. So I'm like, well, if you're a neutral moderator, why would you utter things like this that are completely biased? So AJ, I'll ask you a question. If you had a referee and this referee was going to judge the Mike Tyson versus Holyfield fight, but the referee partied with Holyfield before the fight, do you think that this is good?
Yeah. That's not a very smart. That's not a
Right.
very smart move.
Yeah.
And that that kind of sums it up, just to give you an example. So
Yeah. Well, she does let this Powder Dusty guy get away with a lot when he's on
Totally.
her platform. He says all types of just kind of just crazy stuff. Sometimes they'll have like not debates, but open panels, you know. And he just says stuff that's just like what are you talking about? I don't know. There was a couple streams where he was just being just disruptive and just not really adding anything. So I don't know if he's like a shock jock style person sometimes to try and like be edgy. You know what I'm saying? But it
Yeah.
is what it is. I don't know. Like I just don't. The thing.
Yeah. I think that's more crying or radical coders forte. Yeah, totally.
Well, there's the thing that I've learned about, you know, being on social media or being YouTube is like you can't. How can I put this? I know someone that's coming up pretty good, and then the first bridge that person had, that person kind of burned it, and now this person's blowing up, and the first bridge that, if you burn a bridge, you never know what you could miss out on when you do so. Like this person that I know is blowing up, but the first platform that they were on burned the bridge, so that first platform hasn't been able to like maintain that relationship for mutual benefit. Does that make any sense? So it's like
yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, people have to be very, very measured in how they maintain relationships with other content creators and people who either come on their channels. Because what happens if, like, okay, Marte and I are cool, right? Let's just say Marte goes viral and he has 70,000 subs in like a year, right? You know, what am I gonna cuss him out for? And then all of a sudden, you know, we can't create content and all that type of stuff anymore. That it's not a smart move to just burn that bridge for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't
Right.
because
Right.
it's mutually beneficial to both of us. You know what I'm saying? But some people just can't. They can't even think about. It's also common courtesy, and also if friendship, respect, but even from an actual content creation standpoint, you know, to not to be biased in a way that makes that other platform, I mean, that other content creator go, huh, that's a little odd. That's not a smart move. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We have symbiotic relationships all the time. Hence, by the way, sometimes if I see AJ Reacts getting on stream, I'll jump in and he'll be like, well, we have like an opposite thing that happens. Like, I don't care. People can cam up as long as they're appropriate on my channel. But his channel, he wants to hear these voices of probably disagreement or agreement. And he wants to generally bring a discussion. Now, I think that we can coexist, but we have a symbiotic relationship. I kind of help out and bring some of my fan base over to his channel. He's now over here on my channel. People can then join and click on mine. So I think that this can be true. However, what I think, AJ, you're alluding to is that when you cut off one end, you're actually burning bridges that you can never build again sometimes. And this is what happens in society where it's like not beneficial for everybody. Like, I don't see where Sarah could benefit from this if she's choosing a side and becoming biased, meaning she's not in this referee position of neutrality, which I believe that referees should be neutral. If you're going to be a moderator, you should be neutral. Now, you aren't moderating debates, AJ. You're offering commentary. You can be like against my side or for my side. You could just be kind of random. So you actually have more wiggle room than Sarah actually does when she's literally like having two people with opposing views and she can't intercede for one side. You don't have that restriction. You have actually more freedom than actually most people do. Even me, actually, being one-sided, being I'm Christian, this and that and all this, like I can have like this linear stance, but Sarah can't have this. She has like little wiggle room where you have a lot.
but here's the thing,
Yeah.
Marte, I can't do what you do, which is why I watch you and Andrew do it. Because man, I mean, as good as I am about making points and arguments, man, I don't have the patience you do, man. I be cussing people out so bad. Matter of fact, I was on a smaller content creators channel. I was just in Ireland on vacation, and I caught some type of really bad flu or something. So I've been sick all week, and I jumped.
Damn, man, sorry about that.
You kind of hear my voice. I was actually just about to go to bed, and then I saw you on. So, so this one guy, I was on another panel, and this guy, I don't know if he was trolling or if he was serious, but I was just sick and in a bad mood, and like only cough medicines keep me standing. And he was just saying stuff like, well, you know, I think men file for divorce the majority of the times now. Can you show me a study that says otherwise? I'm like, you're just an idiot. I said, dude, you are a moron. And then he's and then we were talking about forced doctrine, and I said, you know, and I know that men's natural role is to protect. And he's like, well, you know, there's females in the police force. I said, come on, dude. I said, wait a minute. I said, if I'm 6'3", 250, if two guys my size break into your house, you know you'd want a man. Well, I don't know. I want the most qualified person. I said, you're a freaking moron, dude. I felt bad because it wasn't my panel, you know, and I usually don't go in on people, but I'm just like going in on this dude, like, dude, you're just an idiot, you're a moron, you know. But I can't debate. That's not a point to debate. If we can't even come to the understanding that men are stronger than women, and that he was even trying to say that I need to pull up a study to show that men and women have different physical exams to get into the police force. I said, now I know you're trolling. I said,
Okay, let's get back to the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, I can say that.
Sorry, bro.
No worries. But
it's fine because we're kind of having lax discussion. There isn't a streamlined topic here that we can just be here.
What I'm saying is that I don't know the extent of the damage that was done with Sarah in the stream, but I know that one of the only reasons why I watch any of her content is because Andrew Wilson's on there. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Totally. That's what first
I
brought
don't
me there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know anyone else who's on her channel. I watch you, Marte, when you're on there. I watch Andrew Wilson clips, and then that's basically it. So I think that if Andrew decides to for whatever reason kind of go to do as I don't know, not be over there anymore, that would be bad for her platform. So you would think that you don't what is it? Shoot the golden goose or whatever, or kill the cat, whatever.
Yeah.
What's the saying?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I want to say though. I joked about this. I said that Sarah's running Andrew's fourth burner channel, and she laughed at this because I think that AJ,
totally.
you guys would even agree with me that when we hear comics on stage, the reason why these jokes are funny is because there's a hint of truth in it. And if you think about this, it reigns true that when Andrew shows up, he brings a lot of people to her channel and also sends raids to her channel. So I'm like, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot. So when you say golden goose, you're totally correct about this. Also, I think that we have cash cows and pay pigs, like in the form of Ryan. They hate him and despise him so much that they pay to drop him. Who's making all that money? Sarah's making all the money. When Andrew shows up, he brings a big platform and audience. That's why I think she's kind of partial to him and says, all right, I'm going to give you more freedom because that's more money. So it's like, I totally believe you're correct.
You're right.
And you gotta think.
And I hate to ascribe to her a monetary thing, but I mean, let's be real. Yeah.
But you gotta think of this too. I don't know if Andrew dual streams when he's on her platform, but like think about. But even if he does, or even if he let's just say Andrew calls into her panel, and think about how much Andrew's time is worth. So he's actually losing money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By going.
Well, you know what? I watch Sarah.
And a good
I
guy,
prefer to watch Andrew on Sarah because it has a smaller audience and we have better interaction. Whereas if you watch Andrew on the Crucible, there's 3,000, 4,000 people watching. So you don't have the interaction. That's why I watched Sarah's channel, because it was a small, 200 people watching. So you had better interaction with the people. That's why I watched Sarah's channel.
Yeah. I just think that there's a certain thing with larger content creators. As a smaller content creator, this is like the same as sorry, but if I was gonna box Mayweather, he's the A side and I'm the B side. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works in any type of interactions where there's any people watching or anything else. So I just called in to actually see what exactly had happened, because I do watch Andrew when he's over there. But you know what though? I only watch the whatever when Andrew's over there too. I don't watch
totally.
The rest of
Same,
it.
same thing. Yeah.
So when you have a person like Andrew, where there's a whole there's a whole market of people that are for him, and then there's an entire market of people that are anti-Andrew who make money off of him too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So it's just a very, very interesting thing how this social media thing works. Marte, I'm gonna drop off, but here are you on Discord, right?
Yeah. Send me the Discord link on X. Also, by the way, I just wanted to ask you something. Did you pay attention to the Roma drama? Because me and her were at war for 6 months before the Wilsons got involved, and that ended up in a really
Roma.
I messaged you. I did a live stream.
Watch Rachel's 30-minute interview where she discombobulates.
I actually had a live stream about it, and I actually dropped a clip from my live stream today about it, and I actually pulled up your Twitter post, and I showed myself messaging you Twitter. Roma took an L before because Andrew
Yeah.
put in the messaging he wanted to talk about her, trans ideology or whatever, and she's like, I don't know where he got that I'm pro-trans. It was in her bio.
Yeah.
I think you had pointed that out. Dude, she took it out. She took it out.
She removed it.
She
Yeah.
removed it. I pulled it up on my live stream, and I'm like, guys, check this out. So she already took an L. Andrew didn't even have to debate her. She took an L. He just forwarded a text to Brian, and he whooped her. That's how bad. That's how much of a beating she took. He didn't even have to do anything. Did she just not think that we were gonna see that was in her bio? Dude, the internet never forgets that.
Yeah.
Andrew was like
Brutal.
4D chess, brutal. Jason Voorhees beat down, dude. How do you take that big of an L? Like we're just not gonna. I don't know where he thinks that I have this pro-trans ideology, and he's just this and he's just that. And then all on Twitter, including on yours, people have that screenshot with the circles. And the fact that she thought that she could debate him on anything really, really shows how delusional she really is. It would have. I think this is probably the best outcome for her, is that the debate never happened, because she would have got completely and totally annihilated.
Well, I did post that she tried to charge me $800 for a debate, and she called me a roid monkey, which I can then, if I wanted to take a liberal approach, I can say, well, hold on, you're calling the black person a monkey? How racist of you to say this from being liberal Canada, of course. Like, I could have taken that approach and really dominated the discussion, but she avoided a debate with me. And then when Rachel said, hey, let's have a debate, she said Rachel's too emotional to debate her. And then she wanted Andrew, which means he was chasing clout. And then she charged him too. She said, well, you're going to have to pay up. And then she switched the debate and canceled. She took so many L's, it was ridiculous. But anyways,
but she tried to say men's rights is not political. Politics is included when you use the word rights, you dumb. Like, what are you talking about? Exactly. You can't talk about rights without talking about politics. Like, it's just unbelievable how stupid, how arrogantly ignorant people can be.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because we're talking about men's rights. Are you saying that men opting out of marriage isn't like dealing with rights and how our justice system's formed with custody and all this other stuff? When we're talking about men's rights, it's like, so to me, that was the moronic position for her to state. Like, I would have literally decimated her in a debate. Yeah, you're totally right about that.
Policy informs our rights.
Correct.
We have a Bill of Rights. It's all political. That's what it is. And the fact, this is why I'm telling you, like, this is why you can't put women in charge of anything. You just can't. Like, everything just goes to ruin, man. It really does. You know what I mean? And I'm optimistic in that you see Gen Z men now are going to the church more now. They're more conservatives because they've had it. They really, really have. My nephew and all of his friends, they're young black men. They all voted for conservative, right? They don't believe in any of this woke stuff. They're done. Young Gen Z guys have had it. They've had it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And
I agree. I do want to say, hey, Mr. Bill, I appreciate you coming up. We were previously talking about this whole Wilson Sarah debacle. I'm pretty sure maybe that's why you came up. How's it going, man?
Hey, pretty good, yeah. I was just gonna say, did you notice anybody missing in that after panel and everything? Any kind of community members that might have normally been in a fight about men and women issues and things like that? Somebody, crucible type people and everything that she doesn't realize and everything. That's not just the money; it's the brains and everything of Andrew's operation that also sort of support her and sort of fight for on the right hand side of things and everything. That are probably going to sort of say, "Hey, Sarah, you messed with the wrong guy and everything. We're not going to sort of help out on that."
Where can I find the stream? Is it still up?
I think that if you go to Dusty's stream, he may still have it up. The conversation that initiated all of this firestorm and everything that Rob was pissed off about, them saying something like, Sarah in Dusty's chat saying on the live stream, nobody fucks with the panelverse. You heard me and all this, meaning like there's a conglomerate group that she's siding with, which is not biased at all. That's what I get from this. I'm not like stating that you shouldn't go to Sarah's channel or any of that. I'm not making any of those claims. I'm just stating what I heard and saw today. That's it.
Okay.
Mr. Bill, is that what you saw too?
Yeah, and what I sort of heard and everything, you can.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Sarah was about to sleep or whatever. It sounded like the have a muffly kind of voice and everything when she was saying that. So she may have been tired and not really give her the excuse for what she said, but
Okay.
she sort of was tired at that point there. Like she's kind of putting words together that made sense at that point there. Like sort of thinking about the consequences at
You're
that point. There.
crediting her too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't give, I'm not saying women in general, but yes, I'm saying women in general. I wouldn't give them that much removal of accountability. And I think AJ would agree with me on this. I think that when you take accountability away, well, maybe this would have happened. That's an assumptive claim. Like we can't assume that. I think that as a moderator, you're either a moderator 100% of the time or you're not a moderator at all.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to talking about debating, if they were just talking about, who's your favorite YouTube streamer or something like that, not she might say not Rob or something like that, but she's talking about debate performance and everything. She needs to stay in that kind of moderator type role. If she's talking about debates, how people debate and things like that, she needs to sit back. They debate however they want to debate. It's up to them. That's how a moderator would sort of behave.
Correct. And AJ, not to try to keep you online any longer, but I'm going to ask you a question. The reason why I had so much beef with Roma for 6 months, and this will tie back into the whole Sarah discussion. The reason why I had a lot of beef is because she carries the mantle of men's rights advocate. Meanwhile, if you take her position and you take Pearl's position, Pearl says the same stuff that she does.
Seriously, Pearl.
Right. But this is my thing though, is I think they're the same person. Only one has a title of men's rights advocate and one doesn't. The reason why I don't attack Pearl is because Pearl, we could say she leads nihilism. She says, do whatever you want, coom, whatever you want. She's not representing men. Meanwhile, the reason why I'm attacking Roma is because she represents men by her omission of saying, I'm leading men in this position of men's rights advocate. Well, hold on. That's a lot of responsibility.
Okay. Wow.
You can't do this. And it's very weird because I'll tell you one thing real quick, AJ. If I was leading a bunch of women, that would be kind of weird saying I'm a women's rights advocate as a man. That would be really weird. Now we're seeing the dichotomy, the opposite happening. That's why it's questionable to me. I think also if you're as a woman saying you shouldn't question my leadership as a men's rights advocate, that's questionable. To me, that's a red flag to tell me I can't question this and to say that that's funny. That's what's weird about it.
The two biggest differences, but the biggest difference between Pearl and Rome Army is that Roma's a single mom and a sex worker, and Pearl isn't, and B, Pearl is more prescriptive and not descriptive, right? She doesn't. No, sorry, she's more descriptive and not prescriptive. Sorry. So I've never heard Pearl prescriptively say men should do blank. She stays out of that sphere. Roma will say men need to blank, which is absolutely insane, right? And also, so kind of like that. That's why when like Andrew and her were having her discussion, Andrew he wants to talk to a person about what they think their prescriptive claims are, and Pearl just kind of doesn't have any. She just kind of reports things, right? So
yeah,
that's why
Pearl is a grifter, total.
I would say Roma's 10 times more of a grifter, or like Melanie King. Okay. So for instance, Melanie King, she has, you could pay her like $500 an hour for a one-on-one session with her. She's like a 49-year-old single mom with like a lot of subs, but like she does sessions with men. Like you can pay her $500 and she'll do like a one-on-one coaching session. Come on.
Wow.
With a woman? Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? And like, I think that Roma does the same thing. She tries to coach men and do all this other crap. So if you're
She
just
does.
spouting the red pill talking points, with fine or whatever, and you're just kind of like covering the same stuff we cover, I would say that that's more of like, it's a grift, but it's not trying to be kind of what Roma Army and Melanie King and a couple of the others, or that Sadia Khan chick who turned out to be a
Totally.
friggin' side
Totally.
chick. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
but you were saying though oh, she also said that she's a men's rights advocate, but she's anti-red pill, anti-manosphere.
Right. So when the manosphere, when I think about this is my logic on this. Let me know if I'm wrong, AG, when I say this. The manosphere is a men's space, right?
Yes.
So if you want to say that men have their own space, yet you're invading these spaces by being a man's rights advocate, which means that this is a sphere of men, right? Meaning men's spaces. You're against men having their own spaces that you yet invade by saying that you're an advocate for men, which means that you're encroaching on our spaces. How weird. This is such a contrarian position to hold. That's what I think.
And judging
that
us
makes
for having it too.
Okay.
But-
Yeah. Total.
Which- if you're anti-manosphere, means that you're judging us for having it in a negative way, right? Which is ridiculous. And then anti-red pill. If you are for men's rights, then you should be pro-red pill, because all the red pill is a set of facts, information. It's a dossier that you could take to have men make the most informed choice that they can. If there's nothing prescriptive about the red pill, nothing. Now, if you talk about MGTOW, black pill, or a passport rose, that's the prescriptive part. But the red pill part is the information that allows you to make that choice. I have a guy on my channel. He's red pill, yeah, but he just met his wife in Thailand, and she immigrated here. He's married. He's happy in the bug and a rug. I have another friend of mine. He's a red pill guy. He's married, but he and his wife have a traditional mindset. So red pill makes him understand how, as a man, to have these boundaries, right? To actually say, look, like, I have to make myself useful, be the best version of myself, spiritually, emotionally, monetarily, right? So that I can be useful to myself, my family, etc. You know what I'm saying? So that's why her being anti-red pill is anathema to even being men's rights in the first place.
Yeah.
I would even say that a person who truly follows Christian ethics is red pill by default.
Right. And
We'll
then that's
see the
I agree.
gynocratic misandrist society that we live in. If you are a person like Marte or Angie Wilson who follows the Bible and sees, and the Bible is the most patriarchal book on earth, right? You can't not see the gynocentric nature of society. So you are basically red pilled by default if you are a Christian ethicist and a Christian. And not some trad con goofball, So
yeah. And then not to mention this, but when we're looking at red pill, and this is something that me and Rollo Tomasi discussed further, because I questioned him a lot about a lot of this when I went to the Rational Male to have this discussion with him in Vegas. He told me, like, yes, it's a prescription that we're talking about, meaning, like, AJ, if I give you fire, that's all I'm giving you as far as the red pill. I'm not telling you what to do with the fire. You can decide whether to cook with this or to burn somebody's village down. This is all you're deciding what to do. So it's not a bad or good thing. And Roma's against the description portion, which is like the red pill advocate, or even one of the fathers of red pill. You're saying that he's wrong about this. So you're saying that fire is bad overwhelmingly, Roma. When she says anti-red pill on her profile, I'm just like, this is not only horrendous, but you're saying men can't use descriptions. So I'm just like, not only is this horrible, but she would have gotten obliterated with the debate against me or Andrew Wilson or Rachel. So it's why is it she opted out of it? So.
But here's the thing, like, this is the thing that I don't understand, because someone like, for instance, Pearly Things knows she's not a debater. That's why she doesn't debate the people. I am not a debater. I've done debates, but I'm not going to be. Roma Army is not a debater. What is she gonna like? The fact that she thinks she's challenging anyone to a debate, let alone Andrew Wilson, is like that. I'm not a boxer, right? But I'm gonna go and challenge Mike Tyson to a boxing match. It doesn't. The hubris. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all
The
bad.
the more important thing that's going on in the world today is epitomized by the Omni-War panel that convened on October 4th. There was Daniel Brody from Japan. There was David Hughes from England. There was Jacob Nordengard from Sweden, and Patrick Wood from America, and Courtney Turner moderated or hosted the debate. And those things are more important than these petty shit shows that Sarah has highlighted for the last few months. Anyways, I'd urge you to check out that stuff. I can send you a link or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. If you are in my Discord or something like that, I do want to make a kind of like a comment. So we have Eleazar Perez in the chat. If you see his channel or see the link, please follow his channel and also like his videos and subscribe. The guy's been in the trenches. And not to mention that, I'm not trying to make this whole podcast or stream about him, but I do have to say that I have to give the man his roses where it's due. I don't know if any of you guys follow this guy, but he goes to college campuses. By the way, Eleazar, I'd like to link up with you and do some street debates with you if this is possible.
Is he related to Monica?
What's that?
Is he related to Monica Perez?
No, this is a completely a whole different guy. So if you watch his channel, this guy goes to universities and debates anything that's anti-Christ when it comes to ABs and baby deletion and all this other stuff. And he explains how it's antithetical and turns their logic on its head. By the way, Eleazar, the reason why I'd like to link up with you is because I'm also traveling myself. I'm going to Jubilee on Sunday to debate billionaire tech Brian Johnson against why I think that transhumanism is bad, why I think that immortality and pushing against this or for this as a billionaire is also bad rhetoric for society. But yeah, I do believe that we're on the same path. So if you guys follow him, the guy's got amazing debates. He's also the GOAT as well, too. So yeah.
Yeah, the GOAT is Patrick Wood in his numerous books on transhumanism and technocracy. Yeah, check him out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check him out if you could send the link as well too. If you subscribe to my Discord or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not on Discord.
I had a funny conversation.
I don't know what Discord is.
With the guy,
or any of the social media I'm on. But go ahead, AJ. What were you saying?
I had a funny conversation with the Irish guy who was on the plane next to me on the ride home, and we were talking about immigration and stuff. Because remember, their immigration issues are different than ours because they have people from certain countries where there's a lot of sand that are coming over to the UK and Ireland and France, and they're trying to change it.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
You know what I'm saying? And so he was talking to me about, how I feel about living in the U.S., being black and racism and blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, dude, race, anyone can move to America and become American if you get your citizenship, right? We don't have an ethno-national standard. We go by national standard first, and then we go by race. Ethnicity doesn't matter. But all three of us can't move to Poland and be Polish. We can be Polish citizens, but we can't be Polish because we're not Polish. There's an ethno-national standard in most other countries other than the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. So I said,
Poland rules. Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with an Irish person saying they're ethnically Irish, that's their country, and they would prefer that the majority of people are Irish and that anyone who comes there assimilates. I don't see
Well,
anything wrong with
totally.
that because the
Totally.
Japanese can do it, the Chinese do it, the Koreans do it, but the Europeans can't. It doesn't make any sense, right? So,
Yeah.
so he's not getting it. I'm like, dude, you know how we say Native Americans are indigenous to North America? He's like, yeah. It's like, you are an indigenous Irish person. And he goes, I never thought of it like that. I'm like, I said, you guys are so brainwashed. I said, this is why you're giving your freaking country away. I said, you are selling don't be France, because France is cooked. France has let all these people in. And
France
you know
is
what I'm saying? And, dude,
England is cooked.
yeah, the UK,
The
is
UK is
cooked.
cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing: England should be for English people, and it's sad because a lot of Smommy Robinson, you know what I'm talking about.
Tommy Robinson, you're talking about him.
Yeah, he's the hero we all need. He's been saying this for 15 years, man. You know, he's the man. Have you seen the video of all of his black supporters? These are immigrants from Jamaica and stuff that came in the last 20 years that actually wanted to legally immigrate to the UK and make the society better. And now they're marching with Tommy Robinson just to say, get these other nuts. It's not about race. It's about culture. And some people, and it's so crazy that the left has this blind spot for Islam.
Well, that's the Kalergi plan.
Yeah.
Totally.
It doesn't make any sense. So this guy was like, the wheels in his head were click, clack, click. And I'm like, you've been told by your government and by your friends that it's racist to say that these Muslims coming in build these neighborhoods and they're anti-woman and they're anti-Christian and they're anti-this and that. But I said, it has nothing to do with race. It's culture. And he was like, wow, I never thought about that. And I'm like, and you live in Ireland, bro. I said, indigenous peoples, indigenous Europeans should have just as much of a right of cultural and national sovereignty as Asians do. No one ever questions Asians or Africans.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think it's racist at all, because if I tell somebody that I'm leaving the black neighborhood, it's not because I'm leaving black people. It's black culture that's degenerate that I'm leaving. Yeah. So this is the thing, though. Case in point, I'll say, hey, I'm leaving because my property value is going down. Do you think it's going down because of white people leaving, like moving into my neighborhood? Probably because of black people. Like, these are obvious things that we can think about. Like, I'm leaving degenerate crime rates and all this other stuff. And then not to mention that black people, when we think about this, that like 17% of black women make up the lowest percent of population. Why are they leading in ABs and baby deletion in any clinic? So it's cultural. So AJ's right to say this. So when we have illegal immigrants coming into our country, they're literally warping and changing culture and traditional norms that we do have. So that way America can look different from 50 years from now. Well, this is different. We have an American culture. Christmas and other traditions are being eroded as we speak, while they're bringing their own Islamist religions in here, which are contrasting with religious Christian doctrines. So all this is
Dude, the UK is everything that we hyperbolically say that America is. The UK is where America would be if Knucklehead Harris got
it would be trash.
It's so cooked, dude. It's so bad. But that's why there's a lot of affluent Brits moving to the United States, because they just can't handle it anymore. And guys, they're trying to pass a law where
Canadians
Canada's cooked too. Canada's cooked too. But they're trying to pass a law. You guys know how they say that if communist Mohammed mayor guy gets elected in New York, that all the rich and business people are going to leave that mom down.
Totally.
That's Hamas. Hamas is moving in, and it's just bad.
Britain's trying to pass a law where if you two guys, the Marte and I don't know your name, but
Perry,
if you guys have businesses in Singapore and New Guinea and Nigeria, they're going to
Yeah,
tax
they'll-
you for the revenue that you make in other countries.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's bad. That's
gonna leave.
horrendous.
you're going to
Yeah,
leave.
totally.
They're
Totally.
they're cooked, you know. And I just think it's funny that they can't even hang their own flag in the UK without it being called racist now. Do you see that? They're trying
Yeah.
to say that
Yeah.
there's people going up and taking the flags down.
AJ,
Yeah,
there's
totally.
people literally being
Totally.
arrested because they're saying in front of Muslim people that they like bacon.
Yeah,
Literally being handcuffed.
crazy, right?
I
This is crazy.
know.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
social media is
Yeah.
totally fucked.
Yeah, I made sure.
Yeah.
Totally
Martin,
forget
that when I bought my house, I drove around to make sure that the majority of the people in this neighborhood didn't look like me.
Hey, you know
I'm
what?
dead ass.
AJ's
I'm
completely
dead ass.
right about that.
I made
And
sure
these are
that there
two-
was.
So, Harry, these are two black folk that are telling you that we don't like our culture, and but for good reason. Because here's the thing, though, is AJ is probably going to agree with me on this. The reason why it's hard for me to find a B dub to get with, and we say this black women,
I'm
is
allergic
because
to them.
you're either going to find two contrasts. You're going to find black women that are raised on ebonics and maybe have a good enough diploma, but then you have the boss babes on the other end that are too masculine and are the husbands of their own relationships because you're competing in a household. Now, let's gravitate towards the middle. Where are those black women at that are fair, firm, and consistent in being feminine? It's extremely rare. This is why,
Totally. Okay. Totally.
right?
I'm
And
allergic
this
to
sounds
them.
extremely racist to any liberal if I say this, but how is this not
I'm
facts
dead
because of the
ass.
culture?
I would say
Yeah.
you can Thanos snap 98.9% of American black women away, and the world would honestly be a better place. I'm dead serious. It's
Yeah.
here's the thing. Most of the fatigue comes from black women.
Well,
Most
hello.
of the fatigue does. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I drove around this neighborhood at 11 a.m. and I looked for any 2001 Impalas on 23-inch rims. I didn't see any, thank God. And I looked for any freaking nugs and pookies wearing freaking wife beaters, drinking liquor at 11:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh,
No.
so AJ, you didn't see no grape drink. You didn't see no Section 8 housing.
No.
You didn't happen to see an EBT card on the sidewalk.
tell you.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because here's the thing, I find myself the whole "you cisgendered hetero white man" that doesn't play on my channel, because here's the thing, people have this thing where this one guy had a little Instagram. He was saying this is why the left lost, and he was saying that kids who were 14, 15, 16, 17 during the cough, they had to sit there, these young white kids, and you young white men, you're horrible, this and that. And now these kids are 21 to 27, and you can call them anything under the sun, and they don't give a damn. They do not care anymore. And there's, I would say,
You don't give a shit. Yeah,
these-
you don't give a
these-
shit about the
these are the
fucking bullshit that's
two
been going
most-
on.
These are the two bells that can't be unrung. The two questions that these young guys ask. Number one, men have always been.
Hey, and I'm
Okay.
64. Fuck. And I don't put up with it.
But these young guys have been sacrificing men in general, our bodies, our health, our sanity, just to keep society going, to protect and provide. Men have stopped it, and they said, what are we getting out of this? And no
Yeah.
one's been able to answer.
Yeah.
If a cowboy and a horse are riding through the desert in the Old West, the
A
horse
horse
doesn't need the
is
cowboy. The
America.
cowboy needs the horse. What if the horse bucks the cowboy off and says, "What am I getting out of this?" And then the other thing is, young guys, they say, "Well, you can't talk about women or gays this way," and the young guys are saying, "Or else what? Or else what?" Those two questions, right there, society is terrified that men are asking those two questions now. They're
Yeah.
terrified. You can't say that about such and such group. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, totally.
They're
Yes.
Yeah.
scared. What am I
I
getting
agree.
out of doing this? And after that, they are cooked. They're cooked, and that's why you actually see a lot of young men going back to the church and more traditional things now, because this whole leftist agenda has nothing to do with men, and they're starting to understand there's no place for men. I asked guys on my channel.
Wow, you're so
Can you-
based, AJ. I can't believe it. Wow.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm from Seattle, Washington. So I grew up
Wow.
blue pill,
Yeah,
liberal,
shit.
Democrat, dunderhead until I hit about 20. And then I realized that something's wrong, man. I'm like, wait a minute. The rhetoric that the feminists use against men and these wokey use against men is the same rhetoric that like the Ku Klux Klan and all these racist groups used against blacks back. But it's the same dehumanizing language. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Wow.
acceptable.
Partial
You know?
to the Ku
Yeah.
Klux Klan.
Yep.
Sorry.
Say again?
I'm partial to the Ku Klux Klan. Have you seen Birth of a Nation? That's a
Yeah, not one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Wait, I haven't seen this, but I don't know what you mean by your partial.
Yeah,
To the
why?
KKK. What do you mean by that? Because that kind of struck me a little bit. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
Who?
You said you're partial to the Ku Klux to the KKK. What do you mean by that? Ooh, these crickets are loud in this room. Go ahead.
If you've seen A Birth of a Nation, I agree. I totally agree with her.
So you think that there's like black dudes just trying to jump out of the bushes in general and just like kill white people and like all that other stuff?
No, it's not as simple as that. Like you're simplifying it too much. Yeah, I don't agree with that. No.
I've never seen the movie, but AJ can kind of tangle with this. He sounds like he's seen it.
Yeah, the thing about the whole any organization that like puts like this racial identity type thing, I just don't agree with, because I don't see them being different from these Hotep pro-black Umar Johnsons or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, look,
and the Hebrew
Israelites. Yeah. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you want to have a little club or whatever where you guys hang out or whatever, or even, but when you have a group that's actively antagonizing others based on their race, go and have your meetings over there, but don't actually go into other people's areas or neighborhoods and do. That's why I don't like the Israelites. They're sitting there on these street corners yelling and harassing people. You know what I'm saying? I don't like any group that's been violent in the past. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Now, once again, we can't thought police people. There's nothing wrong with. So, for instance, people, they get mad if a guy says he doesn't date, like a white guy says he doesn't date black girls. That's his prerogative.
And this is one of the issues is I don't believe in miscegenation. So
I don't think any type of identity politics is good. And groups like the Israelites, the KKK, they take their race group as like their politics runs through their racial lens. And I think that if you're a Christian, if you're any, especially, then you should be more.
AJ,
I agree.
Have you ever read Revelations? Where in the end
I haven't read it.
Not for a while.
Everybody's described as nations and tongues.
So I hear you, but I want to actually talk to what AJ's saying real quick before he gets ahead of us. Harry, here's the thing though. I don't agree with anybody that plays racial politics with anything. Matter of fact, when he talks about even Israelites.
So you're basically left.
But here's the thing: I'm not left, but I don't like people that play race politics. Here's the reason why I don't like Hebrew Israelites is because if you talk to if you right, but if you talk to Hebrew Israelites, they'll tell you that God is racist. That's
Yeah.
literally what their rhetoric boils down to. And here's another reason why I say this is because I would be right if I said that whites are one of the most oppressed races on the earth. Because if
sure.
you had
Yeah,
black
they
society
are.
and you said that
They are.
whites could have the national advancement for white people, that would sound racist as hell. Also, here's another point that I'll come at you because there's also, I would say, scholarships that are available for black people. BLM is a scholarship that's available for black people. But
Yeah,
if they
it's-
had White Lives Matter as a scholarship, that would be racist as hell. Another third point that I'll bring up too
You're
is
making my point. You're
right.
totally
But
making my
this
point.
is but
Yeah.
right. But let me finish though. This is my point though, is that if you ever have black people say black pride and have the fist in the air, that's great. But if you have whites do this because of historical context, because they've had an overcorrection of this in the past, they can't be proud of being Caucasian. That's crazy and that's weird. So
Yeah.
how are we not creating more racists by saying that whites need to be silenced because they can't complain about black problems when this literally lowers property value in the neighborhood? Anyways, I have this whole diatribe I can go on, but I'll let you guys talk.
Totally.
But my issue is from the Christian lens, though, right? Every
Yeah,
I mean, everyone.
you're gonna ameliorate the Christian lens to the brotherhood of man, the love of everybody, blah blah blah. That's not realistic if you look at the New Testament. It's not.
So some people are better than others. There's
No.
there's like a hierarchical system.
Why would you say that? Some people are better than others.
Well, no, because what I'm trying to say is that
No, I would say that Christians are better than others.
yes. So if a person's white or black and they're
Christian
Christian, that makes them
civilization is
but
better
that makes
than any other civilization.
yes.
And
And what I'm saying is that if you have a white Christian and a black Christian, then they are equal before the eyes of God, correct?
and obviously the black Christians got to bow down to the Christian civilization concept. I mean, it's simple. Yeah.
I don't think you heard my question. So if you have a black Christian and a white Christian, they're both equal in the eyes of God, correct?
Ontologically, yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Wow,
so
that
other,
was crazy.
so wait. So other than ontologically, they're different.
Wow.
Then
Yes, they are different. Yeah.
how?
Wait, what?
Because they're different races. Hello? That's obvious.
No. I said
Talks
no.
about the different
But I'm
different
saying equal though, meaning
races
that
that
they're equal.
meet God
Do you think
at many times.
Do you
Like-
think one is higher than the other? Like one
No.
is
Uh, no, but historically, look at Western civilization and has
okay.
Western civilization prevailed over all the world?
Okay, so it has, but now that I, as a black person living in a Western society now, and you, as a white person living in a Western society now, living in America, we are equals. You can't take credit for thousands of years of Western society.
Ontologically, we are equals. Creatures created in the image of God, the Imago Dei. Yes. Yeah, totally.
What was the birth of nations argument? I heard it and then I walked away and then I came back and y'all were already pretty deep into the conversations.
Yeah.
So
curious.
I never watched the movie, so I'm not a good reference point.
Yeah,
you can
it's
ask
an old
AJ.
movie
Harry.
that kind of depicts.
I know what it's about. I was
Yeah.
more curious about the gentleman just above you because he said he liked it,
Yeah.
and I wanted to know why. I'm curious. Enlighten me.
I don't know what you're asking for. Sorry.
Oh no,
So-
just
You
So
said
what
you
King was
enjoyed the
saying
movie,
was
and I
that
want
because you had said that you are more like a proponent for the movie, you find favor in the movie. He's asking like, what do you find favor in when it comes to the movie?
What movie are you talking about? Like, I
The
don't
Birth
know.
of the Nation he was referencing. Meaning,
Oh,
yeah,
the
because you,
Birth
Yes,
you
I'm curious
verbatim, you
about
said you're
why.
partial,
The Birth of the
you're more
Nation.
partial to this movie.
Do you realize what the Birth of the Nation was about? It was
Maybe not.
about a southern tribe intermarrying with the northern tribe during the Civil War, and how
Yeah.
they resolved their differences
yeah. And-
amicably.
but
Yeah.
then they kill all the black people.
They didn't. No,
Yes,
that's
they
a
did.
that's a bullshit part.
that was what it was. It was just
No,
showing.
that's a bullshit.
Yeah. No.
Well,
No.
well,
It's a
AJ, if you don't
bullshit
mind, I
part
want to
like
I
the
want to hear his
Holocaust.
perspective.
Yeah.
Like the Holocaust is bullshit.
Okay. Well,
Can you explain the movie to me? Hello.
I thought I just did.
Well,
I know,
you
but there was a
stopped-
lot of talking. If you could kind of like summarize it just in short form, like what?
Yeah, you stopped at the Romeo
Yeah.
and Juliet tale between the North and the South, and
Yeah. And they resolved their differences, and everything was copacetic.
How did they resolve their differences? I guess I'm asking for detail.
Well, they didn't marry niggers.
Mm.
I would just stay away from certain languages on YouTube. I'd like to have my channel up.
we knew that was coming.
So let's try to stay with some language that doesn't get me banned from YouTube. That would
Yeah,
be great.
dude.
Like
No, you know damn
HCOS
well.
or N-word.
You can't say that word on YouTube, man. You'll get
I know.
Marte's channel taken down.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Totally sorry.
No, you're not, or else you wouldn't have said it. Come on, man.
Okay. I'm sorry if it
Offends you.
demonetizes
Like bans, they would ban my channel. It wouldn't even like because I'm not even monetized yet. I'm worried about a ban or
Yeah.
well, and he's
let's
not
not get
even
this man mad.
monetized. He's Marte isn't even monetized, so it doesn't give a shit. Nobody gives.
I do care. What do you, this is,
Yeah,
I do
he's
give a shit.
Well,
He's
I
put
care.
work
Yeah, I
into this
care.
channel, dude. You know, you put a
Anyway,
lot of. Anyways.
AJ, could you give me your description of the movie?
Yeah, so basically you have like the north, you have the south, they're kind of beefing, and then there's basically makes the south, the people in the south, they're like the heroes, and basically all the blacks are all portrayed by white actors, and we're just savages that are jumping out to like swoop in and take the white women, all this other stuff, and then
you were savages at
One
point.
second, bud. 1 second,
Yeah.
bud.
and then all the black people get killed. All the white dudes shake hands, and that's basically it at the end.
Yeah. Okay, that's a shitty
Here's
over.
the thing. Here's the thing. Have you seen how like most white people lived back then too? You guys were savages too.
Okay. Listen, the South was controlled by
Marte,
Britain.
you got yourself a
Was
conversation.
controlled by Britain and the cotton trade, and
There was whites working the docks, in the coal mines. You know what I mean? We're working all the same back-breaking labor as the slaves, barely getting paid anything. That's where the Louisiana swamp trash and all the trailer trash, black culture, like the ghetto black culture that everyone whines about, whether they say there's fatigue, comes from ghetto trailer trash white culture. So here's the thing: the inner cities where everyone says us blacks are. If you go to rural white opioid epidemic, methed out America, where no one has any teeth, everyone's on trank and their arms are rotting off. They're still inbreeding. The schools are all jacked up. They're just the same. The top 15 poorest counties in America are 99% white, and they're in Appalachia.
Yeah.
The
And what do
mountains
you,
have been fracked. People
what do
drop
you,
out of school in 8th grade. All the same problems that the poorest blacks have, that the poorest, I would actually say that because of the number of whites, because we're still 76 or 70% white, whites are the top of society and the bottom too. The people with the worst outcomes in America are white. You look at Aberdeen, Washington, because I'm from Washington State. Look at the unemployment rate. The
Have you-
spotted owl, all this
have-
other stuff.
have you
Junkie.
read Thomas Sewell?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. So what I'm saying is that every single thing about negative outcomes that blacks have, whites have too. And yes, Western society
Yeah.
has
And where does
permeated
that
the
come
world.
from?
Yes,
Where
yes.
does
Here's
that
the
come
thing.
from? It comes
Yes.
from CIA drug trade. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Western society has allowed
Yeah,
more people.
I agree. Western society is culpable. They've fucked up everything, and
Western society has made things a lot better though. Remember,
in a certain degree, yeah.
they've actually run studies and like was it Asian societies and Western societies are more right-brained, whereas if you look at like the people from like Tonga, the Maori, and Africans are more using both brains and besides of the brain. But when you take any group of people and move them to Western societies, they tend to become more right-brained, and that's why you see more technological innovations. But once again, about Europe, though, Europe is a very, 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 very small space. And so is it that necessity leads to more innovation, right?
Do
In
you
Africa,
just looking at history? Do you agree that European civilization codified the supremacy of technology,
yes,
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 creation, everything?
because the Europeans were fighting each other more than anyone else because they were in such a small part of land with weather that didn't allow for the abundance of places like Africa, where you have a tribe they can beef and they'll like, screw you, and walk 7 miles away and have plenty to eat and never see the other tribes again. Europe was a very, very, very small place.
Yeah, look, okay, let's go to Africa and say, how has Africa prospered since decolonization? How has Africa prospered?
What actually hasn't, because of the
Yeah,
colonial tax and
yeah.
corruption. Here's the thing: I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is that the reason why Europe became a technological powerhouse. There's a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's one of the
Yeah,
best
I
books.
got that
Yeah,
book by Jared
yes,
Dunn.
he describes it better. You look at World War II, World War I, and World War II. To me, it was one World War, right? We just had a 10-year break. Is the most important event in human history because we went from biplanes and zeppelins and horse-drawn carriages to nukes and radar and jets. You know what I'm saying? In the span of like 20 years.
Have you read Lord Milner's Second War?
No. I'll read
Okay.
it though.
It talks about the Boer War in Africa.
But
It's talk
my point is, people act like somehow the Europeans were magically more racist than anyone else. No, everyone all around the world was always
we were more supreme. Obviously, we were more
we are you European?
Yes.
So you were born in Europe.
No, I was born in Canada.
Okay, so if you were to go and your family's from where originally?
My father was from Friesland.
Where?
Where is that?
Well, it's Northern Holland.
Okay, so if you were to go back to the Netherlands, would they call you Dutch?
no, they'd call me
Then
Greece.
guess what? You're not European. You are Canadian, my friend.
Yeah, totally Canadian.
Yeah. So there is no we when it comes to Europeans. This is why I say Canadians, Americans, we go by nationality and then race because ethnicity doesn't count to us anymore. In the same way that I'm black, I'm not African. You know what I'm saying? Think about it though. You are Canadian. Here's the thing.
This is interesting to me.
Totally count.
But you can't go back to Europe and say they won't accept you. There's been an ethnogenesis. There's been an ethnogenesis of Canadian now.
What's the fella's name above you?
Well, no, they will accept me.
No, they won't, because you don't speak Dutch. Do you speak Dutch?
I have the documents that show.
Do you speak Dutch?
I speak Frisian.
Do you speak Dutch?
Frisian.
Fluently with no accent.
Frisian. Hello?
You speak it with no accent. Thank you.
Well, I probably have
my
a
case.
Canadian accent. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have friends of mine who are German, and
Can y'all hear me?
Their parents are German. They were
Yeah, I can
born
hear you.
here,
Okay.
and now they are Americans. They go to Germany. People call them Yankees. Yeah, you guys aren't German because they aren't.
What's
They weren't.
what's the fella's name above AJ?
Perry?
Marte.
No,
Oh,
I know your name,
his name's
Marte.
Harry.
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 Yeah.
Harry.
When I came back, Harry, I
Actually, I'm named after my grandfather, who was Harmon. That's a
All right.
Frisian name.
all right, Haram When I came back, I heard you say that you were against miscegenation, which I don't take
Yeah,
umbrage with.
totally. against it.
That doesn't bother me at all. I'm curious as to why though.
Because I don't believe in a mixture of races.
But why? I know that you don't.
It basically biblical. You read what's his name's book, Dow's book on the races. Anyways, yeah, I don't believe in it because in Revelations chapter whatever, they talk about the people that are brought before the throne of God, and they're from various nations and cultures and blah blah blah. And so that's my
Well, wouldn't that be the argument for miscegenation?
no, it isn't.
Well, explain to me. I'm actually curious. Why is it not?
You want to read the fucking book? Like fuck.
No, I want you to explain to me.
Who is my neighbor? Read the book, Who is My Neighbor? An Anthology in Natural Relations by Thomas Accord and Daryl Dow. Read that book. Read that book.
Could you crystallize the ideas for me?
It look at the Old Testament initiated boundaries between the nations. Blah blah.
Let's assume I can't read.
You can't read. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it. Could you explain it to me then?
No, if you can't read, you're useless. If you can't read, like I don't know how to.
Yeah, but Harry, if I can kind of interject a little bit, most of the apostles and everybody else, I mean, they couldn't write either. If you look at literacy back then in the New Testament, these people couldn't read or they couldn't write or read. This was very common back in those days. So, would you say that the apostles were useless?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Wow, that's
Oh, no,
crazy.
no.
That's insane.
I'm mocking you.
All right, hey,
No, but
I mean, you could troll, but I'm asking you for I
I'm
mean,
asking in good. I'm asking in good
yeah,
faith. I'm
we're
not
trying to be a good faith right here. Just
I'm
try to
not-
find some pure
not
knowledge from you.
trying to argue with you.
I'm just trying to understand your position. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
want to
what he's
understand
doing.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a chemist. Look it up on the internet or the interweb. Look
Well,
up
I'm not asking for a reading list.
chemism.
Asking for you to explain your position to me if you can.
Yeah, that's my position. Out and out. That's my position, is that we shouldn't mix races.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm curious as to why. I
Well-
don't agree or disagree with it. I'm just curious as to why.
Well, read Accord and Dow's book on it. It goes throughout history, from the biblical times to modern times, and it quotes all these philosophers, Christian apologists, and everybody. It quotes everybody that talks about this. So read it.
So I'm gonna dig in a little bit deeper. So your position is that I'm gonna arrive at the same position by reading these books.
I hope so.
Well, what if I don't? This is kind of it's a banana problem, right?
Yeah, if you don't, well,
Do you? Well, I'm sure you don't. So the banana problem is someone walks up to you and I, and they hand us a banana. We're both blindfolded, and they ask us to touch it, to smell it, to feel it. We can both identify that it's a banana.
oh, please, is this the elephant issue? Like,
Perhaps it's the elephant issue. We taste it. This is the point I'm getting at. We both bite into it. We both taste that it's a banana, and someone asks you how it tastes. You say it's disgusting. It's a banana, and then they ask me how it tastes. I say it's delicious. It's a banana. So that's why I'm asking, if I read these books, are you sure I'll arrive at the same conclusion as you?
yeah, I think you will. Totally.
What if I hate the banana, brother?
I don't care if you hate the banana. Like, reality is reality. Like, wake up.
Well, then what's the reality, I guess, is what I'm asking.
The reality is that there's different races, and
I
we have
agree.
to deal with it. We have to deal with it.
I agree with that also.
Okay, so what's your conundrum?
Well, I'm curious about the miscegenation issue. Because
I-
remember, I'm taking no sides on it. I want to know the argument.
Miscegenation
against.
means mixture with obviously
Yeah, different races or
Okay.
different
Yeah.
ethnicities.
So here's the thing, though. Our concept of race, our modern concept of race, is actually relatively new, right?
oh, it
That was in
isn't.
the last.
No, it isn't.
Yes, yes.
No,
Hold
it
on.
isn't.
How are you going to say? Hold on. Wait. Where did the Bible take place? It was in the Middle East. Do you really think there was Asian-looking people there?
Are you a Christian or not?
There was. I'm not. No.
Are you a
not.
Christian or not?
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also not a Christian.
But here's the thing.
I have no beef with it, though.
Here's the thing. I have no beef with it, though. Here's the thing. I honestly believe this. If a person's a true practicing Christian ethicist style Christian, then I can agree with a lot of the things that person says, right? As long as it's not some trad con Stephen Crowder moron. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
Well, I think his argument is that Christianity is arguing for miscegenation, if I'm hearing him right.
arguing against miscegenation.
or arguing against miscegenation. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah,
I misspoke.
totally.
Yes,
Totally.
which I've never heard that before.
I'm curious about the position. That's what I'm trying to dig into. I want to know more about this position. If I
Well,
can hear it in a crystallized form.
you need to read.
I know I need to read.
Well,
That's
here's
not
the
what I'm
thing.
asking,
Here's the
though.
thing.
Blah, blah,
Why
blah.
don't you just sum it up for us? Like, okay, anything that I believe in, I can.
Basic psychology that anybody could understand.
Yeah, but you know that that a lot of the studies that come from psychology, they really can't be replicated. You know what I'm saying? So like, do you
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
gonna cite
I agree.
psychology when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
agree.
Well, let's
I
assume
I agree.
they
Totally.
can.
Okay. You know, my go-to on psychology is the Bobkins, Martin and Deirdre Bobkin. They've totally destroyed psychology, and they were psychology professors themselves, and they totally destroyed it. Yeah.
But Harry, can I ask you a question right now, because I don't have access to a book right now and I don't want to spend the time to get on the internet. I'm pretty sure that you can tell me in short format or explain your position and say,
Thank
this
you.
is what I mean when I say this. That's all I want to hear, is like a concise example of like really what you mean, because honestly, I've never seen the movie. I just want to understand your position. And I mean, in your own words, Harry, not psychologists, psychology 101 today or any other words, just your words on like your belief system on this position. That's all I want to hear, Harry. Is that fine?
Apparently, I don't know. On what movie are you talking about?
Well, to what Ken was asking, like I just want to hear what
okay,
he was asking. Yeah.
the whatever the nation, the birth of the nation. Okay.
Well, I think we already. Well, I think Ken, you were asking about what was the question?
We already discussed this. Yeah.
I was asking for a summary of why Ari doesn't believe in miscegenation.
Well, because distinct nationalities shouldn't mix with other distinct nationalities.
Right,
That's-
right. I understand that. That's like what you feel like. But I want to hear why, though. Yeah, what he was saying. Like, why, though? Yeah.
Because of the Old Testament, where they highlighted the borders and things like that, and then in the New Testament, where they talked about nations that would ultimately confess to God their whatever allegiance or lack of allegiance to God. Actually, there's distinct nations and nationalities. It runs throughout the Bible.
Yeah, I hear that. That sounds like a description, but it doesn't really tell us why, right? And I'm saying that if you can quote scripture,
okay,
you know,
you
an
want to go
exegesis.
to why? You
Right.
want to go to why? Okay, say a freaking black guy marries.
Caught yourself there, didn't you? He caught himself.
Keep going, Ari. I'm listening, brother. Keep going, dog. I'm listening. I'm listening, big guy.
Example. You're asking for example.
Yeah,
A black guy screws a white girl. They have a baby, and the baby grows up, and the baby is confused about where the fuck am I oriented towards, black or white or what? I mean, totally on a practical level, it screws up everybody.
No,
Totally.
it doesn't, because
Yes, it does.
No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it
Because
does.
here's the thing:
Because
you wouldn't
it's
consider that
proven
kid
throughout
to be
history
one.
that
One,
it
you wouldn't
totally
consider
is.
that kid to be white. I have mixed race friends, and they just call themselves black. There is no you're mixed race, so you're white. Society, people let them know real fast that they're black. Trust me. If you are part black, us blacks will take it. You are black. There is no, oh, well, I'm confused. Oh, they'll let you know. Here, have a mixed race kid rob a liquor store. There's gonna be, oh, there's a mixed race kid robbing a liquor store. They're gonna say there's a black kid doing it.
I can actually explain this
So,
really simple. So,
you
but
think
Harry, let's go back in the past. If I went back in the past because I'm mixed,
reality, it doesn't
Look,
work.
hey,
It
Harry,
doesn't work.
Marte is
It
mixed.
never works.
Look,
Harry,
look.
Harry,
I'm mixed
I
too.
can go back in the past and I'm going to ask you one question because I'm mixed, right? My dad was Dominican, I was black, right? And we could say that Dominicans weren't oppressed in America at a certain time because we came later, right? So here's the thing I'll ask. Let's say that I was mixed between black and white. Do you think you think I would be enslaved during the period or not enslaved during the period during those slavery days?
I have no idea.
Oh, you'd be confused.
Hold on. I'm going to ask another
Marte, you would
question.
have to choose whether you were enslaved or not.
But hold on, Harry. I'm going to ask one more question.
Yep.
So looking at me right now, let's
gonna
say
pick
I'm
up
mixed
some chains.
between. Let's say that I'm mixed between black and white, Harry. Which fountain do you think I drink from, the black fountain or the white fountain, Harry? Looking like I look right now, being mixed.
I hope you drink from the white fountain.
And you go to jail.
Wow. Well,
Harry, why are you trying to get
not
Marte
hope,
killed?
but which one do you think? Which
trying to
one do you
get
think I'll
Marte
face
shot.
less repercussions
I
for
gotta
drinking?
drop off, guys. Marte,
White
let's do a
fountain,
collab soon, buddy.
white fountain.
I'll hit you up.
All
Buddy.
right, I appreciate it, AJ. Thanks
All
for
right,
dropping by, man. So Harry, I just want to ask one question though. Do you think I would face repercussions from drinking from the black fountain or white fountain? Looking like right now that I do.
I don't know if you face repercussions per se, but I'd prefer if you drank from the white fountain.
I'm just going to be honest with you, Harry. If you're operating in good faith, I would probably have my ass beat if I drank from the white fountain, looking like I do right now. Matter of fact, at those times,
Fuck off! You're as white as they come.
that's crazy for you to say. I am not as white as they come. Like,
Yes,
if you're saying-
you're Hispanic. Oh fuck off with the Hispanic shit.
no, my mom was black. My grandfather was a part of the NAACP. So no,
Fuck
There's
off.
black Hispanics.
yeah. So we also have black Hispanics too. And then not only that, but if you look at Dominicans, it's just this boat ride stop from Africa. If you think about it, so I'm definitely black.
Dominicans, like you're actualizing a frickin' Roman Catholic shit show. Don't do that. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm telling you distinctly. My mom was black. She had an afro. I had an afro as a kid, and then growing up, I grew up around black culture. So not only do I identify with black culture growing up in that, but my mother was black.
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you, but I identify you as a white.
Yeah, but you understand now. Back in those days, if I
Because-
whistled at a white woman, I would face
because-
repercussions for that.
Why do I identify you as white? Because you have a decent epistemology and theology and etc. That's why I identify
Yeah.
you as white.
But Harry, this kind of refutes your whole statement by saying that two colors. Let's say that a
Yeah,
person.
but they generally they don't. Okay.
Harry, back to your premise that you offered a black woman, according to the Old Testament, that you were saying mates with a black man, and this person you say was confused, but they have perfect epistemology, and then not to mention this, but they have great grammar and everything else. Would you then say that that person identifies as white now because of their knowledge that they inherit?
Yes.
That's
So
crazy.
If both parents are black African and they have the same epistemology as Marte, are they white?
Yes.
Well, he's consistent.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is very consistent. I'll say that.
That's
But hey,
consistent.
you know what? This is a Harry. This is the first time I've ever heard of this, which means that also.
Epistemology rules.
So, but you're also
That's a Marxist
proving that this
argument.
is
Yeah.
also a construct that society gives, which I'll give you that too. I'll agree with you on that. But here's the thing, though: optics reign in rule supreme of the day.
Shit. Optics are shit.
Optics aren't shit because you literally had said that a black woman and a white woman, saying that there's a distinct difference that you're inherently against, even though the epistemology, you're saying that race is a construct of the mind.
On the practical level, a black woman and a white guy, when they have babies, there's going to be trouble, obviously, and you can't deny that.
Well, but Harry, on a practical level, if their epistemology was the same as mine and they spoke with perfect
No.
grammar, we'd all
No.
have white babies then, by your estimation. All these babies that, because they speak with perfect grammar and they have the great epistemic foundation that I have, they're all white. Even if they're dark as an oil can at those times, they're white by your estimation, right?
Well, they would have to be.
Yeah, if they bow down to God, yes.
So, okay, so anybody, so let's say you have like, because I want to test your logic here. Let's say that you have whiter than snow white people birth other white people that are really white.
I'm talking about the difference between pragmatism and
Right, but Harry, I have to dive deep into your logic here. If two white people have babies, let's say a white person that was white as hell had a baby with another white as hell person, but they spoke in Ebonics and their epistemic foundation was not congruent with mine, would you say that they're still white?
yes.
Wait, hold on. That
actually-
doesn't
I
make
actually
any
get-
sense. So
I-
it's not the epistemic foundation then. This doesn't make any
I get
sense.
his argument if it makes any sense.
Can you explain this for me, Ken?
Yeah, because
Okay.
he's from his worldview, he's taking the pragmatist perspective. Is that correct?
No, not pragmatist. I'm taking, I hope, the Christological perspective, but
Well,
whatever.
we kind of we set the stage with epistemology. I just kind of accepted that, but then above that, you said pragmatically, unless you misspoke.
Yeah, I probably misspoke. Yeah.
Okay, then I don't understand it. I'm sorry, Mate. Go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, but Kim, do you understand where I got the confusion? Because I said,
No, you're perfectly logically consistent. I get what you're saying. If it's a epistemological argument, then theoretically, if somebody is sub-Saharan African or Maori or Aborigines, it doesn't matter.
Sub-Saharan African are shite.
yeah, but he also said that even if the epistemology wasn't congruent because they're white
at
skinned,
their
they're still white.
IQ. Look at their IQ. Their IQ is shit.
Okay, so he's taking a race essentialist perspective.
Yeah, I'm taking a racist viewpoint.
Yeah, but
Oh,
even
he's going
that's
beyond
not.
that. He's taking a racist viewpoint. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but even that's not congruent because if you have two white people and they're uneducated and they speak Ebonics and their epistemology isn't congruent, they're still white. But if you take black people and their epistemology is congruent, now they turn white all of a sudden. But you see how this is like not even an equal value exchange when it comes to even opposite races. It's like, so he's just taking a supremacist viewpoint, I would say, for sure.
Oh, all of a sudden it's supremacist. Like, fuck.
Well, because if black people,
Are we being trolled right now? What's going on?
right? Because it is. If you think about logically, it is a supremacist viewpoint. Because if you take black people and they subscribe to perfect English, and they have and they also have an epistemology which mirrors white people, according to you, then they're white. But if you take white people and you degrade their education levels and they're not speaking grammatically correct and they don't have any epistemic foundation that layers with Christ, they're still white no matter what.
I will submit to supremacist ideology. I think the white race rules, and they've always ruled.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I sussed out, Kim. That's what I was alluding to. I got the answer. So
game over.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is? Rather,
I mean, it's proven historically. Everything, every metric has proven that the white race is supreme.
So you are
do you think?
publicly inherently a white supremacist, right?
No, I don't like to say that, but
I mean, it's uncomfortable, but I would say, well, how is this inaccurate as far as a descriptor? If I was to say this now, by the way,
no,
Harry, I'm not, I don't
okay,
hate you,
okay.
Harry, for saying this right now, but I mean, at least you can be like intellectually honest with me and say, you know what? Yes, I do align with this, which would make you what? I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you admit that now, I'm not like gonna ban you or do anything crazy like that
Yeah,
because I,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not mad at you. At least you're being honest.
yeah, I wouldn't be mad at you, Harry, if you just admit it.
Supreme. Yeah, totally.
Oh, wait. Can
And
you
you
say
think
that
you?
again?
And,
So
and
you
it's
are a,
proven throughout history. It's
wait,
proven
Harry,
throughout
can you say it again? So if you believe that that is true as a white supremacist construct that you believe, do you believe that you're in alignment with this enough to identify as a white supremacist?
So I hate to identify myself that way because uh, because of all the connotations.
Right. You're not being judged for that. I'm not going to harshly judge you for that. I'm not going to think low of you or high of you. I'm just really fascinated by your perspective. If you say you're
Yeah.
white supremacist, I'm not going to
Yeah,
say I hate you or anything like that.
Totally.
Wait, say it again because every time I talk, you keep talking. But go ahead.
You want me to say that I'm a white supremacist?
No, I don't want you to say that. I just want to get a clear understanding of what you believe yourself to be. That's it. It's not about what I want. I'm just fascinated. That's all.
Okay, I will say that I am.
Okay, see, what's the harm in that? I'm not coming after you because of this. I mean, I'm just fascinated by this because I like to hear people's different viewpoints. That's all.
Yeah, you know where I'm coming from, Marty. I love you. I've always loved you. I've supported all your shit shows on Sarah's channel and stuff like that. You know,
Well, I hear that you love me. Hopefully, it's like in a very heterosexual way. But you also say there's shit
No,
shows.
Marte, he wants your butt, brother.
I think I do fairly well. I don't think I have exactly shit shows. I think I do fairly well, and I do believe that you think I'm white. You said that I'm white, so
That's a compliment from him.
yeah. Obviously, I must be a good hold on, I'm going to be a kind of hyperbolic here, so I must be a good Uncle Tom, I guess, to some degree. But
God damn.
you know what? At least I could be Uncle Ruckus here a little bit. Let's say I just align more with him. I don't know if you're familiar with the Boondocks here. But I mean, at least I got a good, solid, honest conversation out of you, and that's good. You know, that's good enough by my book.
I actually appreciate that also.
Yeah.
And do you understand where I'm coming from?
Well, not exactly. That's what I was trying to drill down on. I was hoping you would illuminate me a little bit more because I wanted to get a little bit more into your perspective and talk about it a bit.
Thanks, bro. I don't know if I can on this.
Yeah,
Van-
if it's gonna, if the
it sounds
language
like
is gonna
maybe
violate
not,
the
yeah.
stream, I totally understand that. That's fine.
Sounds like
So-
maybe not.
But I do want to say I appreciate everybody for being involved. I do have to go. I have a flight tomorrow. I'm gonna be on Jubilee tomorrow, debating tech billionaire Brian Johnson. Hopefully that goes well. It's not gonna go well for him. I plan on crushing this guy.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate both of you getting on here. This has been a very insightful conversation, to say the least. Kim, I'm pretty sure you weren't expecting this type of conversation, but it's good.
It was interesting. That's why I jumped back in.
Harry, what were you saying before I kind of talked over you?
Oh, I love you, Marty. Totally.
I mean, you got love for me. Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll just call it that. All right, sounds good, man.
Despite our conflicts on certain
I can
issues.
deal with it. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, here's the thing, though. I think I could say that I'm one of the channels that could probably bring this conversation up when typically it's tough to even have this conversation, and it's extremely rare for this to even come up and somebody to be completely honest like this. Ken, would you not agree with that?
Totally.
Yeah, I appreciated it a lot.
This is
You were
this
willing
is
to share your perspective.
reality, and we're dealing with reality. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's good stuff, and I do appreciate it. So yeah, definitely, this has been a good, insightful conversation. I will kind of like leave you guys to that on that note, but I appreciate you guys gathering tonight on my channel and us having this conversation that I don't think I would hear anywhere else other than my channel. So
Thanks, Mark. I love you.
Yeah, have a good night, gentlemen.
appreciate it. All right, Ken, you take care, man. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, brother.